under. Vince Carter, start us off. Over-under for Klay Thompson tonight, 20.5 points. What do you got?
Dan, I'm gonna say 20. I feel like we're gonna see game 6 Klay. He's gonna be hot, but for some reason I'm just saying 20, so I'm gonna say under.
Maybe a low-scoring game overall. Brian Windhorst, over-under for Jason Tatum, 3.5 turnovers in this game. Which way are you leaning?
Yeah, well, considering he just broke the all-time record for most turnovers in the history of a playoff run, I'm going to have to say over. It doesn't necessarily mean the Celtics are going to lose, but I think that would be the smart bet.
Well, it certainly won't help, that's for sure. Vince, 4.5 threes for Steph Curry tonight, over or under?
I'm going to go under, Dan, once again. I think the Boston Celtics want to keep him under control and at wraps, and if they're going to lose, they're going to lose to the others, and I'd say under at 4 made threes.
Well, they lost to the others in Game 4, or in Game 5. Curry had 43 points in Game 4, just 16, though, in Game 5, and he didn't make a single three-pointer. Obviously, incredibly unusual for the all-time leader in that category. After that game, his teammate Draymond Green talked about how Steph would bounce back from his 0-for-9 performance from 3.
He's going to keep shooting, and we're going to keep doing all that we can to get him shooting. So he was 0-for-9 from 3. He's going to be livid going into Game 6, and that's exactly what we need.
All right, so Brian Windhorst, Vince Carter with us, as mentioned, to talk NBA. Brian, is that what you're expecting, a livid Steph Curry to come out and torch the Celtics tonight in a big bounce-back game?
There's so much respect for Steph, and he has inflicted so much damage to the Celtics in this series that I can tell you, in talking to both sides yesterday, it's not even a question of whether he's going to bounce back. It's just an assumption. And so I expect the Warriors to continue with their game plan, which is a lot of heavy Steph Curry pick and roll at the top of the key, letting him score on his own, create his own shot. It is incredible to watch what Steph has been able to do in this series. He is averaging 13.5 points unassisted. That is like Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar level. We were used to seeing it decades ago, players doing it in the post. Steph does it at the top of the key. I expect him to do it again tonight, and I don't know if it's going to lead to a win, but I would expect Steph Curry to be great again.
Vince, how do you size up what you've seen from Steph so far and what you expect tonight?
The word livid, I don't know. I think it's going to be super aggressive, and he's going to go out, like Wendy said, and they're going to allow him to go out and get his, and he's going to make plays and draw the attention. And regardless of if it's that drop coverage or one-on-one or he's double-teamed, he's going to make the right play. And I think an aggressive Steph Curry is going to open up opportunities for everyone because he's understand they're one game away for a lot of reasons, for things that he wants to accomplish, things that they want to accomplish, and doing it for some of the guys like Andrew Wiggins, who has been extremely solid for the Golden State Warriors. So, yes, he's going to come out and set the tone for the Golden State Warriors.
Brian, we were talking in the meeting earlier. You said you saw something different from Boston defensively against Steph in Game 5. Are they pretty much throwing everything they can at him and daring the other guys to beat them?
Yeah, they turned up their aggression level a little bit. They stepped more forward on him, picking him up. What's one of the reasons why he hoisted a couple of those 30-footers, because instead of trying to meet him at 23 feet, they were meeting him at 25 feet, so he shot from 30. That's kind of the counterbalance that Steph has. And I think they were pretty pleased with the way it all worked out. They know he's not going to go 0 of 9 every game. And look, Andrew Wiggins has arguably had two of the most important and impressive games of his career these last 2 games. And he has definitely had space created for him by the attention to Steph. And I am in agreement with Vince. If the Celtics are going to lose this series because Andrew Wiggins has 3 brilliant games in a row, they would rather go down like that than let Steph put another 40 spot on them in their home building.
And Wiggins, of course, been brilliant. We've talked a lot about Steph. But Vince, I mean, look, tonight's Game 6, right? Game 6, Klay. Are we expecting Klay Thompson to deliver one of those signature shooting performances tonight?
I do expect Klay to be in Game 6 Klay mode because for Klay, just think, all of the injuries, sitting there dreaming and wanting to get back to this opportunity, he's not going to let it slip. I believe in when he said, I can't wait to get back to Boston. Yeah, maybe it's a shot at Boston, but it's also he's one game away from all of what has gone with him as far as injuries are concerned, now getting that opportunity to make a splash, if you would, for his teammates and to make things easier for Steph, because we know they're going to put the attention on Steph to make others beat him. So why not Game 6 Clay?
Look, I mean, we look at this graphic right here. Slow start to the series, but he's picked it up here in the last 3 games. Brian, are you seeing good signs that encourage you about a potential big night for Clay?
Yeah, if you're a Warriors fan, you're getting kind of excited what you're seeing from Clay. He just really wasn't himself the first 2.5 games of this series. Game 5 was his best game. Hit a couple of huge shots in the second half of that game. And just this postseason, when the Warriors have been able to close out, both with the Grizzlies and then last round with the Mavericks, Clay scored over 30 points, shot over 50% in those closeout games. If the Warriors are going to win tonight, it's probably going to be because they get an excellent performance from Clay. And I have to say, the trend doesn't favor the Warriors here, not only because they're on the road, but in their first 3 road closeout games this postseason, they lost all 3 of them and gave up an average of 126 points. So they know they got to play better, and Clay knows he's got to be a big part of that.
Look, yeah, I mean, lots of experience, obviously, on the Golden State side in situations like this. But on the Boston side, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, they continue to experience growing pains throughout these finals. In Game 5, the 2 of them combined for 9 turnovers, and they shot 2 for 9 in the 4th quarter. Those 2 discussed their mindset heading into Game 6. Here's what they had to say.
We are not scared. We do not fear the Golden State Warriors. We want to come out and just play the best version of basketball. We know it's a good team over there. We know they've done it before.
I think having done it before, should give you even more confidence that you can. Looking forward to being in front of the crowd, knowing that they're going to be behind us and giving us that extra boost of energy as they have my whole career.
He feels pretty good when he's facing elimination, averaging 31.7 points per game in the 3 elimination games the Celtics have played this postseason. That's the second most when facing elimination by a Celtics player in a single postseason all time. So plenty of evidence. Brian, you mentioned that the Warriors haven't been great in this situation this postseason. Celtics have been great in this situation this postseason. So what is their plan tonight to try and get Tatum back on track?
Yeah, and since they had a meeting before practice yesterday and they went over some things that they need to do. Number 1, they've got to stop complaining about the officiating. It is, regardless of whether it's fair or not, it is getting them out of position. That includes Coach Ime Udoka, who got a technical foul. That was something that they addressed specifically before they went out for practice to get ready for this game. The other thing is they are making things a little bit too hard on themselves the way they're dribbling into traffic. So they are going to attempt to simplify their offense. I know that sounds pretty basic at this point in the season, but instead of trying to create things on their own, they want to sort of use each other together instead of forcing it, and therefore playing right into the Warriors' hands and creating turnovers. And the third thing is, Ime Udoka said this could be tough, but he might have to try to get Jason Tatum a little bit more rest during the game. It was pretty clear that he was on dead legs by the 4th quarter of Game 5. He has played almost 1,000 minutes in this postseason. He and Jalen Brown both played over 44 minutes in Game 5. They need to try to protect those guys a little bit and give them some more energy late. So look for those changes and see if it'll be enough for Boston tonight to extend the series.
Yeah, Vince, I mean, look, the Celtics played 2 straight 7-game series prior to this one. Now they're just hoping this one becomes a 7-game series. What do you expect to see from the Celtics tonight?
Well, Dan, I'm going to work my way backwards off something Wendy said about minutes and getting him some rest. Boston has to be careful now. When you sit them, how long do you sit them? I know you find them rest, but how long do you sit them? If you're stagnant offensively, no scoring or so on and so forth. So that's one question. But 2 for me, for those 2 young guys, is I want them to be aggressive. I want them to get into the paint, work your way inside out, start downhill instead of starting outside, taking contested jump shots, and go from there. And number 2, to help turn down some of those turnovers, stop seeking fouls. Stop trying to look for the fouls, because in the finals, they're not going to give you that call all the time. And I thought Jalen Brown at some point, but for sure Jason Tatum, when he was struggling making shots, he was seeking bodies and trying to get fouls, not getting the call. Now he's off platform shooting those one-leg shots that has gotten him in trouble.
I'm so glad you said that because I thought that frustrated me just because I'm an old man. But it's good to hear it from you. Vince, real quick,
I still think Golden State has a lot of motivation, a lot of things going in their favor. They're feeling good about how they played. They think they stole one because Steph struggled. Draymond goes back to Boston to win, and so he can have a lot to say. And then, of course, Klay Thompson getting his opportunity to do what he does. And lastly, Steph Curry gets to play well, be the hero, and win his MVP.
All right, lots more on this game and this series as we continue here on Get Up this morning. We come back.